This year, Sundance 2020, and was historically the most diverse lineup of filmmakers, films, everything in the history of Sundance. It was my first time attending, so I did not expect to see the amount of people of color in Utah that I saw, specifically Black people. You know, I just was kind of surprised by that. Have either one of you been to Sundance before?
I went 2018 for the first time.
Okay. Did you notice a difference from 2018 to 2020?
It was, you know what, like it was two different experiences at two different times. So it felt very like diverse and, you know, very Black, but it's hard to say yes, because last time I went, whenever you go to Sundance for the first time, it's kind of like you just got to go with the flow. It's overwhelming. I feel like this time, I got a better Black experience because I stayed downtown the whole time.
I actually found myself in all of the workshops, all the panels. Like I actually didn't go see a movie, to be real. I went to network, and I was networking sun up to sundown, and just and supporting some of my people that were on the panels. I've spoken in Utah before, but it was good to see so much color, and not just Black, brown, just so much color populating in there. It almost kind of gave me back my juice that I got when I was in college, you know, to be like, yo, everybody's going to leave here and go back out and go back to create.
I like it when things work out perfectly, because my perspective is that I went to Sundance. I didn't see one movie. I spent the whole time like networking and meeting people. And I feel like that is like one of the best things that came out of it for me.
Yeah, and a lot of my networking happened in lines. Like a lot of my networking happened in lines waiting for a movie.
Why were you attending there though, specifically? Why were you at Sundance?
I went to Sundance with several goals. First goal was to build my team, because I went first time in 2014, and everything was new experience for me.
When the first time I went in 2014, I had no idea what to expect. So last year, much clearer vision of my purpose, the reason why I wanted to go to Sundance, and that reason was to raise awareness. I wanted to have my voice out there, to speak my thoughts and my concerns.
There's no necessity for deaf, Black, POC, filmmakers, writers, directors, producers. We are finished. We're overlooked. We're being overlooked. So I went to Sundance with that goal to, you know, raise my voice, to say, hey, something's wrong. With our stories, our voices have been erased, overlooked. We are the underrepresented storytellers, artists that's been overlooked.
One of my producing partners, he had a film in Sundance called Tesla. You know, I was like, okay, I'll go support him. And he was speaking on a panel. And so went out there, and that was like my main agenda. And then I found out BET pushed up our film like a whole month. So then I was like, okay, cool. Now I got something to talk about.
Do you think that there's now like more opportunities for filmmakers of color?
I say yes and no. I say I feel like their opportunities are based on the technology that we have. I would say it does feel a little bit not so genuine or not so authentic, because it's a hashtag to like stay in the good grace of culture a little bit. So if you're a filmmaker of color who wants to create outside of the standard, like create on the fringe of what is the standard, it's going to be harder for you, because if they see you're Black, they want a Black struggle film. There's a little bit of a typecast when selecting filmmakers and writers. That's the biggest thing. That's one of my biggest little pet peeves, I think, with the industry. We can just open that up, because I think, you know, we love films. Like, I like Scarface just as much as anybody else. Is that a Black film? And I love Tarantino and Fincher and Nolan. You know what I mean? Like I can talk about, you know, Stanley Kubrick, and I can talk about John Singleton in the same breath. And so to tell me that what I should be inspired by and what I should create,
I would say yes and no, because since the coronavirus happened, I think it's going to be even more harder to get work. And the network, well, Hollywood is starting to come up with a plan, where we will practice social distancing, as far as the actors being in the same room together. I don't know. But I think more and more people want to be doing animation.
It's true. And I think that we're all really struggling with seeing like what's going, I don't know if it's struggling, but it's like, what is it going to look like?
December, I was like, okay, this is the year I'm going to fully commit to directing. And I'm going to step back from animation. I'm going to, retire as an animator and focus on my directing. And I was like, I'm going to move. I was living in like Miracle Mile. I'm going to move to Hollywood. I'm going to walk to the ArcLight. I was doing like 40 Q&A screenings. So this is still January. This is right after Sundance. And I'm like, I'm going to move to Hollywood in March, mid-March. I got it locked in, all of that. And then Rona ran into us. It changed everything for pretty much everybody, like on the planet. And I was like, I don't want to just scurry back because I'm afraid, right? Because of the Rona has changed it. It's I got to get my stuff together. I got to be strategic. I got to be smart, but I'm still going to push forward.
Outside of it being a global pandemic and it being really bad in certain areas, it's going to weed through who's really creative and who's been getting by throwing money at stuff. Because now you're going to be forced to be a filmmaker.
Ooh,
because stuff has to go on, right? And just like me being an independent filmmaker who utilizes the studio when it's time to get distribution, I'm used to, small crews, get in and get out, quote unquote, staying in one location and shooting it out, So you're either going to adjust or you're going to get left by people that already have been adjusting before this even happened. This is a time where this is going to be a new renaissance that's going to happen, and it's going to be a creative renaissance because you're going to have to figure it out.
And then I just really want to thank you because I've been so sad. Like her giving me this assignment, like got me out of bed. You know what I mean? So it's like it's good for me. So thank you. And stay safe and wear your mask and don't believe any conspiracy theories unless I tell you it's true.
Funny.
Gotcha. Will do.
God bless y'all.
Bye.
Bye. You too.
Okay.
All right.
All right.